I need no more. I got to call up a friend of a friend, so I can find out just where the sunshine's been. Well, I've been working for 2,000 days, spend most of my time in a cloudy smoke haze. Well, children, you know me. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the one, the only LSD. Why do you spend thousands, hundreds of thousands of hours making sure that legislation is not passed to protect these workers? And so it's what the program has been, because of the strong block of the agricultural community, is to allow immigrants and immigration to come into this country. And now you get caught because 9/11 and the hysteria that comes out of Washington. And now they want to blame the immigrants for high cost of Medicare. Yeah, they want to blame them for everything. They want to blame immigrants for everything, whatever it is. That's a good. It's out. School taxes are too high because of immigrants. Healthcare costs is too high because of immigrants. Crime is too high for immigrants. But it's all part. I mean, if you look at our history, our immigration policy has always been based on racism. It's been a racist format of exploiting people, and it continues today. And we don't have a plan. We don't have the idea, except building a wall, which is the most absurd thing, to build a wall. Truckload. It was like one of these huge cattle car trucks came into the labor camp, and all the people standing in the back, and they had come up from Florida. And a young woman got off, and she had broken her arm. And so I said, well, I'll take you to the hospital. Right? That's what you do, take somebody to the hospital. Took him to the Sodas Hospital. They would not let her in because they wouldn't treat her because she was black. And they said to us, no, we don't treat these guys. You gotta go someplace else.
This was in '67.
This was in '67.
Wow. And
it wasn't until we got into Rochester that she got health care, right? And I wasn't naive, but that really that shook me. And they finally sued the hospital, and they won the case years later. But I never went back into teaching. It was too much of a contradiction. There's 1 billion+ pounds of pesticides used in food production. And a lot of the pesticides that are used in food productions are derivatives from nerve gas used in the Second World War. And we had built up a stockpile of poisonous gases in wartime. We found for the domestic use to use it in food production. And we're very cavalier how we treat pesticides in the fields. I mean, it's sprayed from airplanes and it drifts. It's sprayed by workers working in the fields, mixing water and pesticides, and without proper equipment, without being covered. And the highest rate of cancer exists among farm workers. The highest rate of children's cancer, breast cancer, lymphoma, brain cancer exists with farm workers and farm worker children. The highest rate of children born with birth defects exists with farm worker children. This has been documented, but there is still very little control over the amount of pesticides that are used in this country. And one of the reasons that you have a high rate of cancer is because of the exposure of pesticides in our food products. And I think if the average person knew what was in the food, they would be alarmed. Apples has one of the highest containment of pesticides. Apple juice. They did a study in 1986-87 at the Yale University with apple juice being drunk by kids at the university, and then tested them, and the levels of cholesterol had dropped dramatically because they were picking up the pesticides from the apple juice. And we can sit and we can just talk about the horror stories about people being exposed to chemicals and not properly trained. And I think it's an issue. It's an issue that if we're going to confront about healthcare, we got to look at our food source and what we're doing to the environment with pesticides.